What's up, board game people? Things have been busy, and the one thing that never stops is the news. So let's sit back, relax, and run through as much board gaming news as we can in the next little bit. Before we begin, I do not receive any money from board game companies for the videos I make. I make videos to benefit gamers like you and me. Sometimes I get things wrong or we may disagree. If I bungle something or you disagree with my opinions, feel free to let me know in the comments and we can discuss. If you like this kind of board game coverage of crowdfunding and retail topics in the hobby space, please hit those subscribe, bell, and like buttons. This helps us grow and reach bigger audiences. A small change that I'll note here and mention every so often. I'm expanding coverage to retail news and releases. If available, there will be Amazon affiliate links in the description of the video for products mentioned. If you click on one of those links, it costs you nothing extra to buy the item, but I receive a very small portion of the sale in anything you buy for the next few minutes after clicking my affiliate link. So if you're grabbing some of these games, or anything else for that matter, please consider using one of my links and helping us out. So without further ado, bring on the news. The Witcher Old World is marking its first anniversary of the campaign's end. The update they release goes over a short history of the project and then gets into the meat of what we've all been waiting for, production details. COVID restrictions in China are starting to be eased and the factory, Longpack, producing Old World is back in action. As of right now, the estimate for final assembly of the game packages is September, but this is a date most factories are spouting for games that were delayed by shutdowns, so I take it with a grain of salt. They also have shown us final renderings for the game boxes, including all the smaller expansions. Nemesis Lockdown has announced another slight delay for the language version's production. Due to different shades of color appearing on the back of several decks, reprints must be done of all the action decks. They're currently inspecting all the other components to hopefully prevent any further delays. As of now, the timeline has been moved out 1 month for language edition deliveries. Anastyr has been pushing out updates and has officially opened their pledge manager. They've added a few non-gameplay add-ons to the lineup. The new add-ons include an art book, some cool amber dice, and a set of additional mounts. The Pledge Manager is open to massive grumbling. The cost of shipping has been increased from initial estimates, with the shipping cost of an all-in pledge rising to over $130. To put that in perspective, shipping prices have been falling, and my shipping on a master all-in pledge for the Chronicles of Dragonor, which was already expensive, was $115 for several times larger volume and twice the weight of Anastyr. My shipping for Anastyr sits at $135. The cost of shipping has been wholly offloaded on the consumer here, and they're charging a premium for that shipping, instead of waiting until this project ships in a year or two to collect the honest shipping rates from everyone. In other news, Mythic has laid off several members of their operating staff and development staff, with noted departure of Sam, their usual friendly update host, departing the company just before the layoffs began. It casts some doubt on their operating ability going forward, and you can be sure we'll be keeping a close eye on the news coming out of Mythic. Zerywia and Zerywia Quests have released a production outline detailing how things will be moving forward on the project now that the campaign has ended. In contrast to many of the other projects we follow, Zerywia is being produced locally in Poland and is virtually immune to the shutdowns and delays coming from China. Their pledge manager will be opening in June and will remain open for several months until at least the 10th of August. They do not currently plan to offer late pledges, but there are a few copies remaining on their Gamefound pledge manager for the original campaign. The first stage of the work on the game is the rulebook revisions, which have already been taking place for quite some time. They'll correct the rulebook and cards while making adjustments to and beginning the production of all 3D models for the campaign. They expect all files to be ready for printing by the end of the year, with cardboard components beginning production in January and February of 2023. We can look forward to a PDF copy of the new rulebook soon. The Pledge Manager for Resident Evil is reopened for the very last time. This Pledge Manager will remain open until July 31st on Gamefound. They're starting up charging for the shipping, and this is your last chance to grab a pledge and add to your order before final production and shipping starts. They also offered a peek at the retail MSRP for the game, with it costing $109.99 in most major currencies. Final Girl has once again brought home the gold, winning Board Game Geek's Golden Week's Best Solo Game Award. Congrats to everyone over at Van Ryder Games. Their latest update on the Final Girls Series 2 has shown us the miniature samples for Wave 2, which nets you 108 miniatures and 58 unique sculpts. The miniatures are looking fantastic. I especially love the tiny little power loader. You can catch Van Ryder and Final Girl at Origins, UKGE, Dice Tower East, and Gen Con throughout the con season. One last reminder from them, June 15th is the last day to add anything to your pledge in the Pledge Manager. The update from Nova Aetas Renaissance has taken a deep dive into Rebecca, the Magister from the Black Rose Lodge, who has made their way into the game. In this period, Rebecca will be a young apprentice unaware of the dark fate that awaits her. Check the update for details on how her spells will work and a look at the schools of magic that are available in the game. The update also has a few convention shots, my favorite shot being of the painted miniatures in all their glory. The date is finally set, and the soundtrack Kickstarter campaign for Ancient Blood: The Order of Vampire Hunters will launch on June 14th. This will give everyone the chance to back through Kickstarter if Gamefound was not acceptable, or if they just missed the initial campaign. This new campaign will be for the game's soundtrack, but it'll allow you to pick up a full pledge for the game, and the new pledges will help to continue to unlock stretch goals that were planned but not achieved in the original campaign. Into the Unknown has finally received their production sample copy of Aeon's Trespass Odyssey and provided us with 22 minutes of unboxing goodness of the core box featuring cycles 1, 2, and 3, the neoprene battle mat, and the luxury tiles for Wave 1. The white-on-white box looks absolutely fantastic, and it'll look striking laying next to Kingdom Death Monsters Black on Black. The ATO box is packed full of goodies. The quality of the components and the miniatures look absolutely top-notch, and you can tell that care has been put into every element of the game. I could gush on forever about this unboxing, but I'd suggest you just go check it out for yourself. The update is linked in the video description. Speaking of Kingdom Death Monster, long silence has been broken once again with an update on the Gambler's Chest from Poots himself, and another issue of the Dark Herald. First off, Poots isn't apologizing for the delays, he is merely thanking us for our patience and reasserting his creator's promise. The TLDR should read that printing might begin in July, and for some reason he seems to think the project is 97% complete. Maybe the Gambler's box, but the expansions and the rest of the content for 1.5 or 1.6 or whatever we're calling it these days is still far off. Hopefully once they squeeze out the Gambler's Chest, they'll offer us a realistic look at the timeline for the expansions and final content production and delivery. The Dark Herald, as usual, contains quite a bit of eye candy without much solid production or development details. My Father's Work has begun arriving in the hands of backers. That would normally be fantastic news, but sadly the game's delivery beat the app to market. My Father's Work is an app-driven game, and without the app, players are stuck with only the web-based beta tutorials to play through. Thankfully, Renegade Games is scrambling, and have posted saying that the application can be expected now within weeks, not months as previously thought. They are working out the final kinks and doing quality assurance testing to make sure that the play experience is what was originally envisioned. My Father's Work looks fantastic. The quality of the components and game pieces is top-notch, so hopefully the app experience delivers on the game's promise. Escape from Stalingrad Z has issued a new update announcing that they'll be changing the name of their series of games from Operation Z to Zombie Tango Oscar, or ZTO for short. The change comes in observance of the hardships in Ukraine and Russia's use of the letter Z and the term surrounding it for their cowardly invasion. ZTO is planned as a set of 6 zombie apocalyptic World War II games. The second game should launch on Kickstarter in February of 2023. The final reviewing of proofs for Frosthaven continues, and the pressing of the hypothetical big red print button is fast approaching. Production looks to be planned for a 45-day block, and logistic timelines are still in the wind and will vary based on your region and location. Realistically, we should start to see Frosthaven in the hand of players sometime this fall. Some quick retail announcements. The latest expansion for Star Wars Outer Rim, Unfinished Business, is now available. You've made a name for yourself in the Outer Rim, but there's still unfinished business. Hyperlanes through the core world hold the promise of untapped opportunities. The market is flush with new merchandise, from valuable cargo to tools of the trade. Just watch your step. The latest crop of bounties is even deadlier, and your rivals are looking to take you down. Other releases include Marvel Crisis Protocol getting the 2022 card pack, the Black Order Squad, the Quinjet Terrain Pack, and the Black Swan and Supergiant. The closing of the Black Rose War Rebirth Pledge Manager has been delayed until August 31st. They're showing off some of the PU samples of the miniatures from the campaign, and they're looking pretty good. We see Cormac the Druid, Albedo, and Nocturnus today. League of Dungeoneers is preparing for pre-production and will be locking orders on the Pledge Manager in mid-June. This is a big step forward for the project, and now the focus is being shifted to logistics until the pre-production copy is available for review. Teburu and the Bad Karmas has opened their Pledge Manager on Gamefound. Let's all take note here because this is how it's done. They're delaying the collection of shipping in the Pledge Manager for now. Instead, you're receiving a placeholder shipping charge, which will change towards the end of the Pledge Manager to reflect actual shipping costs. To those who actually believe you cannot launch a Gamefound Pledge Manager without solid shipping costs in place, it's simply not true. Bravo, Teburu. They've also confirmed that the big box option for the game will indeed fit in the revered Swedish grid. It's Calyx friendly. Also, they don't want to waste your money on shipping, so they'll be shipping the big box with volumes 2 and 3 already inside. They confirmed that they'll be offering the official Sundrop option for miniatures in the campaign. Here's where it hurts though, as the upcharge for the Sundrop is way on the expensive side. The Great Wall Reprint has issued their first production update following the campaign. English files have been transmitted to the factory for pre-production, and the language files should be on their way by August, meaning that pre-production on the project is well underway. Once those files are printed and sent back, they can make adjustments and work on final approval for production. An updated rulebook is also available for your perusal on the update, should be in a near-complete stage. Mythwind development inches ever closer to completion. The first draft of the story is done and should be entering the playtest build soon. Game Trays is finalizing their inserts for the game, so pictures of that should be forthcoming, and the Delta build is going live on Tabletop Simulator for testing. Last but not least, Etherfields has some great news for the second wave English backers. The final containers for US and Canada are loaded onto ships and headed to their destinations with expected arrival by the end of July. There will be some slight lag while they're transferred to the hub warehouses, and then fulfillment can finally begin. They include in the update an excellent video covering the Etherfields 2.0 update pack that will be headed to all backers. This is an update or patch to the rules with some additional cards and save sheets to expand and refine various game modes. Their continued commitment to ensuring the best play experience for their backers is most commendable. I cannot wait for this one to hit my table. It's been a long time coming, but I'm sure it will be worth it. Well, folks, that's it for the news this time around. Things remain busy as always, and I'll be back next week with another round of news. New campaigns launch tomorrow, and there are too many videos in the works to mention right now. Thank you all for your support. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and leaving us a like to help the channel grow and reach more of you awesome gamers. Thank you to everyone for watching and commenting, and remember to play something fun tonight.